Hi guys, Jarwa here. Just a quick video. Was talking with Vedui about floating designs because in 17.2 they work again, sort of. By floating, I mean the bottom two are siding or sheets like this, not plates. One rotated down, one rotated up. As far as the game is concerned, that is structurally sound. So in this design, the corners and the center pillars are the structure. These outer ones are just covering the gap between the constructed blocks and terrain blocks. If you put frames down here and then frames here first, it will smooth the terrain. You'll get nice clean edges instead of the glitchy, and then you can paint it, to look however you want. Got a couple of things up here. All of this is for adding structure. This is a second block on this structural block. Again, paint them to hide them. I've left them visible here on purpose. You can see here, just adding a little bit of structure as well. Got 11 by 11 on the outside, so it's 9 by 9 in the usable part. The center section here, you can see 5 by 5. I've got stepped up to half blocks and then ramps, bars, and it's done that way because you can see visibility out of there extends way out to here. So even with just that one open block, you can shoot bows, guns, whatever. Of course, that cuts both ways. Cops can see you as well. That's why I left it just a single opening so that you could back up and break visibility so the cop will go, rush in, hopefully. Ladders on all the center, because even with the two gap, you can jump onto a ladder. And what we've got going on here, this is overkill intentionally because I thought it'd be fun. I started with just 2 under each pillar and then extend it out. You could, of course, do that again. You could even set them in the corner. Now they will let you do the quarter rotation on the dart traps. And there are 3 tripwires. I know floating is kind of obnoxious. They have to be rotated up because they actually extend into the next block. So if you attach them default, they stick into this side and you can't get up the ladder. I've added the same sheets to the outsides of these just as a little extra health because dart traps are not particularly strong. They are, however, structural. They're steel level structure just like any other steel block, so those are structural. They're making this pillar structural. I've done plates here and there, which means in theory if these were knocked out you'd still have a connection all the way down. On this side I've got a relay in the way. Again, this kind of changed my mind some of the way through. But it's a single tripwire per lane. Got power, not even connected to those 2 yet. Just my fault. And if you didn't know you could do this, you do not actually have to, you don't have to be within range of this wire not being red. But you don't have to be within range of what you're wiring. You can see I am able to click that relay, come up here, do that, and now they're powered. So each tripwire pulling power from the relay, going across lane behind these. Each one, or at least the outside ones, are powering these 2 directly and then up to a relay. The center ones are all up to this relay. And the relay comes across to another relay and powers the dart traps on the other side. And this, what we're playing with here, like I said, with the floating design, they will run underneath to you. They will realize they can't get to you. That will trigger, I think they're trying to do area destruct, but they will run to one of the pillars underneath it because they detect that they're, again, they detect these are blocks even though there's nothing here. So they will run under this pillar and you have a very slight chance that they will hit it and then they will run back to you. So with this design, with just this massive overkill of dart traps, they will never run back out there to hit it anyway. They will come here trying to get to you. They'll come up here. They will get darted all the hell and back, and they will die. They will not get a chance to go out there. But even if they do, it's very, very small percentage for them to attack this sheet. So even if they do survive the darts, they'll run out here. They'll stand under this for a second. They realize they have no valid targets, and then they will run back here, get darted again, rinse and repeat. Getting in on these sides is not particularly fun because these are in the way now, but each side is set up the same. Got a hatch at the top, got bars all the way around. Not really necessary. I don't know. Some people like to stand out here and shoot at stuff. This is just going to get cops blasting your stuff. On the roof, nothing really up here except generator bank, which I think, yeah, that's more than enough power to power everything. Yeah, just got some relays up here moving the power around. And sort of just for fun, and also again, people that like to shoot stuff. All of the walls are hatches, so you can stand here and shoot and actually walk through them when they're open. I don't do that because cops will see and just make a mess. The corners and the center blocks are the structure, so again, I've done the same siding like the sheets, rotated down and up so that this is a contiguous, solid block as far as the game is concerned. This is that center opening I was talking about. You can see, like I said, way out into the road, easily see the entire area down there. And if it were me, I'd probably be standing, way out on one of the edges or something just to stop cops from seeing me. Have a hatch up here so you can get to the engine. Oh, there it goes. So you can get to the engine. Of course, opening this would let the stupid vultures that would be parked up there come right down onto your head. But that's it. I mean, this is all concrete. All the structure is concrete. Not using any steel level blocks. The little pyramid at the base was kind of a brainstorm or whatever idea I had while building this to test something else. So it's a little bit tight here. I haven't done much testing. I'm going to summon some stuff here, but I did not have any of them turning around and hitting this block, even though they could. But I think if I were to do it over again, or maybe a later game build, bump this out to 13 by 13. You have to probably do a ring of steel and steel cross to keep the structure intact. But the 11 by 11 with the 9 by 9 in the middle works great with concrete, and even with just the the 2 center dart traps on both sides, the testing I was doing before, it absolutely murders zombies. I mean, if they only come in a couple at a time, then it's just a disaster for them. So grab a couple of ferals. They're all going to run over here to try to get to me. The one survived. See, runs over to the pillar and runs right back and immediately gets dart trapped and is toast. So, actually have not done this many at once, but out of curiosity, let's see what we're looking at here. So again, they all run over here to the darts. And you can see they're running laps over there. They do get in each other's way and attack each other, like that one right there, which is pretty funny. There you go. So 25 at a time. That was barrels. But no block damage up here. They didn't hit the plates. They didn't hit any of this stuff. Gotta be careful about walking into your own tripwire there. It will kill you dead with dart traps. There you go. So I think this new sort of combination of floaty base, a little like danger cone in the middle there for them to step up onto, so that they're basically walking under the trap first and into the trap. I think that's a pretty decent setup. Let's break his line of sight so he doesn't shoot at me. Oh yeah, so feral cop, new problem. biggest of the big boys. Yep, so like I said, I would not actually want him to be able to see me because it's going to make him want to spit. And again, no problem. Who else we got in here? And these guys have a lot of health, and they're healing pretty fast. And you can see the behavior I was talking about, where he ran out to a pillar, and then they run back to the center. And that is working really nice. Now, granted, this is all normal AI. This is not a Blood Moon. I don't think the Blood Moon AI behavior would be any different in regards to this, but it is hard to say. So that may be a future test there, but there you go. I think this design kind of breaks the current meta completely, which means, of course, all this stuff's going to get patched out. But I just have simple electric lights in the corners, also wired to the generator. Candles didn't quite reach, and torches generate heat. A little inconsistently. I see it in multiplayer, but not in single player, so I don't know what that's about. But so the simple lights work, they don't generate heat, and then the candles up top wouldn't be too bad. But there you have it. That's pretty compact. Nothing greater than concrete required. Dart traps. Like I said, I started with just 2 on each side, and that worked really well. Later game, you know, when you got a bunch of radiated and cops and stuff, you definitely want more. But this would scale to absolutely ridiculous levels. I mean, those 6 to cover the whole platform, you could put 6 more right there, and then that would be 4 in every lane. I mean, in from each direction. So you got, you know, like, so the center block there, for example, would have 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So, I mean, 8 dart traps focused on each block would be ridiculous. And they support the quarter rotations. Grab one here. Which is a relatively new thing, but you flip to advanced. And I'm running 100% vanilla, not even a UI mod. So they've enabled these quarter rotations, so you could actually put them here as well to cover diagonally across, and also stack them outside, just like that's wanting to attach to that block. You do the same thing and have, you know, a solid wall of dart traps, just a ridiculous level of them, and that would probably scale to max game stage and maybe even 64 concurrent spawns. The thing you run into is pathing problems. They do get in their own way now, zombies. You saw some of that with 25 Orleans, where some ran here and stopped because there was literally not a spot up here for them to run to. And then the ones here that had reached their timer and were coming back down here to try to attack these blocks that are not here, were actually fighting the ones that were running this way. It's funny, but it also leads to them sometimes stacking, and you get some zombies up high enough to start hitting blocks where you're not expecting it, and especially to the dart traps that don't have that much health. That could be a bad time. But this is an interesting design. I'd be curious to see it tested high game stage or scaled out, maybe bigger. Like I said, 13 by 13 would give you a safety buffer here. You'd at least have 2 blocks away instead of just this one. Like I said, in all the testing I've done so far, no zombies have turned around and hit this, although I say that and someone clearly did. So that is a concern, not so much against this concrete, but because of the dart traps. And that was not initially my idea with this design, and I'm sort of curious where that came from. It's the only damaged block I can find anywhere, so maybe that was a zombie, maybe not. They do get weird. Vedui saw the same thing in his testing. You do get some strange stuff where sometimes a zombie standing here will actually hit through blocks. So that may be what that is a zombie standing here magically did not hit that block or that block, but hit that block straight up through. Who knows what that's about? But even so, that's not a huge concern. Very minor damage. More of a concern if they're doing that to your dart traps. So doing this as a 13 by 13 and stepping these out another block might stop that. You might have to do even a 15 by 15 and get more creative with how you're supporting things. But even so, I think that could be overcome, and you would basically see a no or very, very low damage base that is absolutely deadly. I mean, even this is pretty ridiculous. This is, you know, 4 dart traps hitting any given block that they step into, and as soon as they step up here and trip this one, the top ones are wasting darts, but darts are cheap, but as soon as they step into here, they're taking potentially headshots, and then more shots as they walk up, and then finally take the full run. So, just thought I'd share it.